Hello everybody, this is Money Mom. Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the thing I've been doing the last 2 weeks, batch cooking for food for the entire week. The last 2 Sundays I haven't had to do product demonstrations, so it gave me a good amount of hours that I could utilize and batch cook and then have food for our family for the entire week. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my process, a few tips, and then show you a couple of the things I've made. And I want to tell you how much all of this cost, because I think you're going to be very surprised. So let me get right into it. First of all, I'm going to tell you why did I start batch cooking. The reason why is, especially with even before when I had an oven, I just kept buying things and I had a lot of stuff in my refrigerator, freezer, and pantry, kind of out of sight, out of mind, and I wasn't using a lot of the stuff. And I wasn't taking the time. I wanted to do easy, quick things, and on the nights right after I film, I'm like, oh, I gotta quickly make something for dinner. Well, some things you can make quickly, but some things do require more effort and time. And I wasn't taking the time to do it, so some of my ingredients were just sitting there not getting used, which is a waste of good, hard-earned money. So I decided to start batch cooking. Now you do need some hours to do this, but even if I work both Saturday and Sunday, what I'm going to do is split the batch cooking up between several days. So maybe on one day I might make a breakfast casserole and a banana bread. On the next day I may make 2 meals and then freeze part of it. So I'll figure out another way to batch cook on if I don't have one entire day. But it does help to have a whole day. So that being said, the first tip that I would say, and we've heard this one, but this is a little different. Not just look to see what's in your refrigerator, freezer, and pantry. Pull everything out and look, but see what is the oldest things in your refrigerator, freezer, and pantry that you really need to use, things that might even be expired, but you feel are safe to eat. So look to see what your oldest thing is. And then number 2, build a meal plan around that ingredient. So for example, if you've got some chicken that's getting old, use that. If you have some frozen veggies that that's been in there a long time, maybe you can make a pot pie and use that. I mean, see what you have that's one of your oldest things. So go in your refrigerator, freezer, and pantry and ask yourself, what are the oldest things in here that I've had the longest? And build a meal plan and make something out of that. So that's number 2. Number 3, and then what you do next is make the meal plan. That was part of number 2. And then number 3, write any items that you're going to need in addition to that meal plan. So let's say that you are going to make a chicken pot pie. You've got the chicken, you have the gravy that you're going to make with it, you have the vegetables, you've got everything, but maybe you need some butter, or you need to buy the crust. There's something else that you want to buy in addition to that to build that meal plan. You might not have everything in your refrigerator, freezer, and pantry, so you just have to buy a few items. Number 4, this is the big thing I did, and I did this today as a matter of fact. Scour and pull out everything out of your refrigerator, freezer, and pantry. And it does take some time to do this. It took me about 20 minutes today to do my pantry. And I pulled everything out and reorganized it. And guess what? I found some things that I was buying doubles of because I didn't know I had it. So I reorganized it. So if we go through our refrigerator, freezer, and pantry often, then we really realize what we have and what we don't have, which can be really, really helpful in terms of organizing. That way you're not wasting money and buying duplicates and triplicates of things, and then you're making sure you have what you need for stock for items. Because I think there's some things that's important to always have on stock depending what you eat. For example, I always like to have peanut butter. I always like to have my cream of mushroom and cream of chicken and cream soups on hand because they're great for cooking. I always like to have my onion soup mixes, and you guys may have things you always like. So basically, start to make sure that you are looking through the refrigerator, freezer, and pantry, but you are going to have to pull things out, place it on the counter, so you really know what you have. So that is my big tip right there. I do that on Thursdays generally. And then also, this is a big one. After you've batch cooked, so let's say you've made all your delicious food and the family's eaten on it all week. I ask for reviews. I ask my family, do you like it? Is it a yes, make it again? Oh, I could go either way. Number 3, it's not a favorite. For example, the pistachio salad. My husband could take it or leave it. He doesn't dislike it, but it's not his favorite thing, so it wouldn't hurt his feelings if I didn't make it. My daughter, on the other hand, likes it. So I'll find out what they love, what they like okay, and what they don't like. And then that way I know whether I want to make these items again. Number 6, and this is the other big thing, cookbook. I write down, if I'm using a cookbook rather than online recipes, I write down what the family thinks about it or changes to the recipe, like add a little more milk, add less milk, add a little more of this, a little less of this, do this instead. And I jot little notes down in my cookbook. And I have several ones that say, never make again, it was horrible, you know, things like that. So it's really important to document that because you may not remember. And so the bottom line is I've given you all the little tips. I want to tell you guys what I made this week and how much it cost. First of all, what I did is I tried to use as much as I could from my refrigerator, freezer, and pantry. I'm going to tell you what I made, and I'm just going to show you a couple things. What I made this week, yesterday, is I made chili, I made ribs, I had chicken hot dish left over from last week, I made a beef hot dish, I made south of the border rice, it has chilies in it, it's really good. I made gingered pears, pistachio salad we had left over from last week. I made 2 loaves of homemade banana bread, one's in the freezer, one's here, and I had breakfast casserole left over from last week. Oh, and I made a Kool-Aid pie. So, I did have some of these ingredients at home, but I made all this food. All of my food cost me out of pocket for stuff I had to go buy to fill in was $5. Now, not all the food cost $5, but basically all I spent was $5 because everything else I had at home. So I'll just show you a couple of the things that we're having. One of these, and I got this from Catherine's Plate. You guys know her wonderful YouTube channel. This is reason I made this is a Kool-Aid pie. I had tons of these graham cracker crusts I had on clearance. And so I made a Kool-Aid pie. It's refreshing for hot weather. And so I wanted to use that up. I also had some whipped topping and some Kool-Aid. And so I have tons of sweetened condensed milk, so I made a Kool-Aid pie. You guys know I made the pistachio salad last week because I have tons of marshmallows. And so I did that. Also, I had tons of cans of pears in the house. And I got some ginger snaps from the Dollar Tree. And I made a gingered pear dessert. And so, you bake it in the oven, it's really good with crunched up ginger snaps on top. Very good. And on top of pears. And I made that, and so I got to clear out some of my canned goods. I have the chicken hot dish. We still have a little bit of that from last week. We have a little bit of breakfast casserole left over from last week. Now this, if I'm mistaken, this is this potato dish. It's a beef potato dish. You may not be able to see it. And it is from the channel On the Run with Joel and Christy. My husband absolutely loved it. I'm going to link the Kool-Aid pie and the hot dish below in the comments so that you can make those recipes because they're both very simple and easy. So I made that. Then another thing is I made this, and because I had the ingredients for this, I had rice, I have a lot of cheese right now, I have chilies, and I have tons of sour cream and I needed to use it. I made some south of the border rice, and that's going to feed us for several days. Also, a couple more things. I also made, because a friend of mine gave me this, I had some chili starter and I wanted to use that, and I have tons of beans. So I made homemade chili. My daughter's loving this, and so I made that. You may not be able to see all this very well, guys, but I had extra ground beef. I had tons of beans to use. I had some chili starter, and so I wanted to use those up because I have a lot of canned foods and I really need to start using them. Let's see. The other thing is, my friend of mine gave me a slab of pork ribs. I don't generally eat pork, but the rest of the family can eat it. And I made some pork ribs with this rub with brown sugar and paprika and garlic, and it's very tasty, and so I made that. And so that was something else I did. We also have, now I didn't make this, garlic Parmesan bread. This has been in the freezer, so we're going to have that. And last but not least, and I put this in here, I have a bunch of bananas that were going to go bad, and I was going to have to throw them out. And guess what? I made homemade banana bread, but I doubled the recipe. And so that was really good. A few of these, I got the recipes from online on YouTube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link them below. I know this video goes way longer than my average. My question is, are you guys interested in seeing this kind of content? Do you want to know what I'm cooking each week? I don't know that I'll batch cook each week, but if I have time, I really like it because it does save a lot of time overall throughout the week rather than scrambling and trying to make dinner on a night. And I have to say, I like it a lot better. Let me know if any of you batch cook and cook a whole bunch or bake a whole bunch of food at once, and do you have any tips for me? Please look in the description box below because I'm going to put links to some of these recipes for you, and to visit Catherine's Plate on the Run with Joel and Christy, and then the banana bread recipe that I got. And that video is from several years ago, but it's a really good recipe. It's banana bread making one banana, and it's the best banana bread recipe I've ever used. So that's all for now. Thank you, I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.